Here? All right. So now we are recording.โอเคครับก็ตอนนี้6 โมงแล้วเดี๋ยวเราเริ่มกันเลยดีกว่านะครับจะได้ไม่เป็นการรอนานน้องๆหลายๆท่านก็เข้ามากันตั้งแต่ประมาณ5 โมงครึ่งแล้วเนอะนะครับก็ขอบคุณกันมากเลยที่วันนี้ลงทะเบียนกันมาเยอะมากๆจริงๆนะครับวันนี้ครับ IDP ก็มีสัมมนาดีๆมาให้ทุกคนอีกแล้วซึ่งครั้งนี้ครับก็จะเป็นท็อปิกที่แปลกใหม่แล้วก็แน่นอนครับเป็นท็อปิกที่ทุกคนถามหามากเลยในออฟฟิศของเราเพราะว่าหลายๆคนครับอยากที่จะไปเรียน Creative Degree แต่ว่าตอบพ่อแม่ไม่ได้ครับตอบไม่ได้ว่าอะไรรู้ไหมตอบไม่ได้ว่าไปเรียนแล้วจะทำอะไรต่อหลังจากนั้นเจอไหมครับคืออย่างถ้าเกิดรุ่นพี่แบงค์เนี่ยก็จะอายุประมาณ35แล้วเนอะก็จะตอนเด็กๆอยากเรียนมากเลยสายเนี่ยสายครีเอทีฟสายดีไซน์สายคอมมิวนิเคชันแต่เวลาถามคุณพ่อคุณแม่กลับไปคุณพ่อคุณแม่บอกว่าเรียนแล้วเอาไปทำอะไรบอกได้เลยครับว่าสายครีเอทีฟสมัยนี้มันไม่เหมือนกับเมื่อประมาณ15 ปีที่แล้วหรือ20 ปีที่แล้วสายครีเอทีฟสมัยนี้เป็นสายที่มีการยอมรับมีการต่อยอดมีการทำให้ออกมาเป็นรูปแบบธุรกิจอย่างจริงจังนะครับยกตัวอย่างมีใครบ้างไหมครับในที่นี้ที่ไม่ใช้ Facebook เลยไม่ใช้ Twitter เลยไม่เล่น TikTok เลยไม่น่าจะมีใช่ไหมครับมีใครในนี้ไหมครับไม่มี Netflix หรือว่าไม่ได้ใช้แอปในมือถือบอกได้เลยครับทุกคนมีทุกสิ่งอย่างที่เรียนสายเนี่ยครับอยู่ในมือและใช้ในชีวิตประจำวันกันทั้งหมดแล้วนะครับวันนี้ครับท็อปิกที่เราจะมาพูดถึงมีอยู่กันทั้งหมด6ท็อปิกหัวข้อหลักๆเลยครับที่อยากให้ทุกคนเรียกว่ามางานสัมมนาของ IDP ครั้งนี้เราได้กลับไปบอกกับคุณพ่อคุณแม่ที่บ้านหรือว่าบอกกับตัวเองว่าเฮ้ยฉันเจอหลักสูตรที่ฉันชอบแล้วนะฉันเจอมหาวิทยาลัยที่ฉันชอบแล้วนะและนี่คือเหตุผลที่ฉันเลือกที่จะเรียนสายครีเอทีฟในประเทศอังกฤษนะครับอันแรกเลยครับคุณเอล่านะครับก็จะมาแชร์กับเราว่าการเรียนต่อที่ประเทศอังกฤษดียังไงและที่สำคัญครับเขาจะมาพูดแบบเปิดให้เราฟังทั้งหมดเลยครับว่าการเรียนสาย Creative Industry ในประเทศอังกฤษมันจำเป็นยังไงและมันดียังไงบ้างในอุตสาหกรรมด้าน Creative ในประเทศอังกฤษนะครับอันที่2ครับ Career Opportunity นั่นหมายความว่าเราเรียนไปแล้วเราจะสามารถต่อยอดกับมันยังไงได้บ้างนะครับท็อปิกที่3ครับเราเรียนไปแล้วเราเรียนสาย Creative Degree ไปแล้วเนี่ยเราจะได้ทักษะมุมมองความคิดการคิดการอ่านที่แน่นอนครับจะไม่เหมือนกับคณะอื่นๆจะไม่เหมือนกับสายวิศวะไม่เหมือนกับสายเอนจิเนียร์ไม่เหมือนกับสายลอแต่การเรียน Creative Degree จะต่อยอดมุมมองความคิดและทักษะน้องๆยังไงได้บ้างนะครับต่อมาครับขาดไม่ได้เลย Goldsmiths ว่า Goldsmiths มีหลักสูตรอะไรที่เขาสอนบ้างนะครับเราคงอยากรู้ครับว่า Goldsmiths เนี่ยมหาวิทยาลัยที่อยู่ในใจกลางลอนดอนเลยเนี่ยจะต้องมีสายมีเดียเจ๋งๆ Creative เจ๋งๆเนี่ยเยอะแยะมากมีสายอะไรบ้างครับที่ฮอตฮิตสำหรับนักเรียนไทยสายป๊อปปูล่าสำหรับนักเรียนไทยแล้วก็สายที่เข้ายากสายที่สูงวันนี้เดี๋ยวเราจะมาแชร์กันทั้งหมดเลยนะครับต่อมาครับเดี๋ยวเราก็จะมาพูดกับว่าการเตรียมตัวในการสมัครพวกสายครีเอทีฟมันไม่ใช่การสมัครธรรมดาเนอะเราเป็นการสมัครที่เราจะต้องเตรียมตัวกันอย่างหนักเพราะเราจะต้องมีพอร์ตโฟลิโอด้วยซึ่งการทำพอร์ตโฟลิโอเนี่ยมันค่อนข้างที่จะพิถีพิถันแล้วมีขั้นตอนที่เรียกว่าจะต้องเฉพาะเจาะจงนะครับเดี๋ยววันนี้คุณเอล่าก็จะมาเปิดข้อมูลตรงนี้ให้กับเราฟังด้วยว่าสำหรับน้องๆที่อยากที่จะไปเรียนปี2020อยู่เนี่ยยังทันไหมแล้วน้องๆที่อาจจะยังดูสถานการณ์อยู่ว่าโควิดยังไงจะไปเรียนตอนนี้ดีเฟอร์หรือว่าสมัครตอนนี้เอาออฟเฟอร์มาก่อนแล้วค่อยไปเลื่อนเรียนสมัครไปเป็นเดือนกันยายนปีหน้าก็ยังทำได้เดี๋ยวนี้จะมาพูดกันตรงนี้เรื่องนิดนึงด้วยเกี่ยวกับเรื่องการสมัครและสถานการณ์ของโควิดตอนนี้ที่เราเจอกันอยู่นะครับสุดท้ายเราจะพูดกับเรื่อง Q&A คือ question and answer ถ้าเกิดน้องๆคนไหนมีคำถามนะครับก็สามารถถามเข้ามาได้เลยไม่ว่าจะเป็นทางแชทบ็อกซ์หรือว่าจะเป็นการเปิดไมค์นะครับตอนจบเดี๋ยวพี่แบงค์จะเปิดให้ทุกคนโยนคำถามกันเข้ามาเลยครับแล้วเดี๋ยวพี่แบงค์กับคุณเอล่าเนี่ยจะช่วยกันตอบคำถามที่น้องๆมีนะครับก็ขอต้อนรับน้องๆนะครับที่เริ่มเข้ามากันแล้วนะครับก็วันนี้ IDP จะนำเสนอ เว็บบินาร์เกี่ยวกับเรื่องการเรียนสายครีเอทีฟในประเทศอังกฤษนะครับผมการสัมมนาครั้งนี้บอกก่อนครับภาษาหลักที่เราจะใช้จะเป็นภาษาอังกฤษแต่ว่าพอถึงจุดของแต่ละสไลด์แล้วเนี่ยเดี๋ยวพี่แบงค์จะพูดเรียกว่ารวบลัดเป็นภาษาไทยให้เกี่ยวกับเรื่องเนื้อหาประเด็นหลักๆที่น้องๆควรจะรู้ในการทำสัมมนาครั้งนี้ไปนะครับก็เดี๋ยวขออนุญาตแนะนำตัวสปีกเกอร์เนอะมี2ท่านครับท่านแรกคือคุณเอล่าเดวิสนะครับ International Recruitment Manager แล้วก็ Student Recruitment จากมหาวิทยาลัย Goldsmiths University นะครับเอล่า Good morning
Hello, good morning or good evening for you guys over there.
Good evening from us. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me here today. I know you have kind of given a little introduction to the agenda, so I'll just tell you who I am first of all. As you said, I am an international recruitment manager over at Goldsmiths University of London. And essentially, it's my job to support you guys in your application to the UK and to Goldsmiths. So I'm here to support students from Thailand and across Southeast Asia with any questions you may have. So I'll be giving you some information today, but if there's anything that you want to know more about, please do feel free to just drop it in the chat as a question and we'll get to those at the end as well.
Okay, thank you. That's fantastic. So สำหรับตัวผมเองนะครับผมชื่อภักรุณปรีดาหรือว่าเรียกว่าพี่แบงค์ก็ได้ครับเป็นหัวหน้าทีมแผนกแนะแนวของทางบริษัท IDP ศูนย์แนะแนวศึกษาต่อต่างประเทศนะครับวันนี้ก็เราจะมาแชร์เล่าเรื่องประสบการณ์กันว่าการเรียนสายครีเอทีฟที่ประเทศอังกฤษเป็นยังไงแล้วก็มีหลักสูตรแต่ละหลักสูตรเนี่ยมันมีความน่าสนใจยังไงบ้างนะครับผมโอเค Ella so without further ado I'll leave the presentation to you
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Pak, and thank you to the IDP team for having me here today. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. What you can see here is my contact details on the right. So if you do want to take a note of those or take a quick picture of those, please feel free. As I mentioned just a second ago, I am here to support you through the application process to Goldsmiths. So if you have questions now or in 6 months' time or in a year's time, you can get in touch with me on those details. If you missed them today, don't worry because IDP can put you in touch with me as well. So if I can just take the next slide, Pak, that would be great. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about creative industries. We're going to be covering the job opportunities in this field, but also some of the courses offered at Goldsmiths that can prepare you for a career in this industry. When we say creative industries, initially people think about artists and designers, maybe actors, maybe musicians, but there's actually so much more than that that falls into creative industries. And these are just some of the sort of roles and employment opportunities that we consider as creative industry roles within the UK. So you can see on there advertising, marketing, brand management, innovation management. These may be things that you didn't necessarily think of as creative industry jobs, but actually they are because they involve having the skills to be creative, think creatively, and maybe bring something new ideas, new possible income streams, and new ways of working to an industry. So they all have creative aspects that we're going to be talking about today. So you can see on here some of these particular things that are listed are really quite popular in Thailand. So I know there's a real drive for students looking to go into marketing as a career or advertising. Obviously in those sorts of roles, you have to be able to come up with campaigns, which is quite a creative thing to develop. You might be working on the artwork, so you might be working more directly with kind of advertising on TV or radio or even in print form in magazines. These all require you to have really good creative skills. So hopefully I'll be able to highlight some of the ways in which Goldsmiths can prepare you for careers in these fields.
So Ella, I really like the fact that you redefine what is a creative degree. It is not just something we do for acting or artists or designer. So nowadays, I could say, and I totally agree with you that we take creative industry to the next level. And in this, I think in this century, we are entering the new industry and everything becomes so much digitalized. And that is where we can find a lot of things like gaming, computing, marketing and advertisement. All these things are are being done uplift to the digital platforms. How has Goldsmiths be in the perfect position in that and upcoming industry for the creative industry world?
Yeah, absolutely. So like all universities in the UK, we're always looking for new areas of interest and new fields that we can explore in our degrees. Because we have such a long history in creative education, it's been really exciting over the last, 5-10 years, as you say, as digital industries have become more popular, to look at embedding that into our degree courses. So certainly something like computing, we actually have a whole range of creative computing degrees that move away from just computer science as we know it, and they move more into things like games, art and design, in computational arts, looking at virtual reality. So it's actually using that computing background and those technical skills of programming and coding and all of that sort of thing, but applying it to this industry, which is going to find students working in, and maybe, as you say, game design or something like virtual reality. It's really starting to be popular across different industries, from healthcare to education. So there's all sorts of different applications for these creative outputs, especially in the digital age, as you say.
And how big do you think is the creative industry now in the UK? Can you tell us a little bit more in this slide?
Yeah, absolutely. So this infographic you can see here is really helpful. It is from 2018 because this is the most recent data. But what's really interesting is it looks at how the industry's grown in the last 8 years up until this point. And you can see on the left here, it's grown 5 times faster than the average UK industry. So if you consider, the other industries that are, considered to be very big in the UK, so financial industry, healthcare, education, all of these sorts of things, they remain huge parts of our economy, but the creative industries are really growing rapidly, and that's really exciting.
At 5 times.
5 times as fast as the UK average. So yeah, I think it does show exactly what you were just saying about the fact that there is now a drive to go more digital, to think more differently about the future and kind of products and services that we're going to need in the future. So there's been a big rise in industry startups, so tech startups and various companies within the UK who are looking to make the most of this kind of focus on digital presence and a digital world that we live in. And that's why I think you'll see in the middle section there, a large part of what's driving that growth is the IT, software and gaming community of employers. So that's a big section of the creative industries. But also you can see there publishing, film and TV, design, architecture, advertising. They're all contributing to this growth. And that's really exciting.
Yeah. And I totally agree with you ก็น้องๆครับถ้าเกิดน้องๆลองดูกราฟตรงนี้ครับเราจะเห็นได้ว่าการเรียนเกี่ยวกับด้านสายครีเอทีฟอะครับอุตสาหกรรมทางด้านนี้คนที่เรียนจบไปอะครับเรียกว่าได้มีการเติบโตมากขึ้นกว่าสายอื่นๆถึง5 เท่านะครับแล้วไอ้ตัวการที่เราเห็นตัวเลขเนี่ยมันเรียกว่ามันต่อ1 ล้านเหรียญ1 ล้านปอนด์เลยนะครับซึ่งนั่นหมายความว่าถ้าเราเรียนจบทางด้านครีเอทีฟไปเนี่ยยังไงครับงานตรงนี้มันก็เติบโตแน่นอนแล้วค่อนข้างที่จะรองรับอนาคตระดับหนึ่งเลยนะครับเดี๋ยวเรามาดูกันต่อนิดนึงนะครับในสไลด์นี้ Okay, back to you.
Yeah, so this is also really helpful in showing you exactly what that growth means in terms of job opportunities in the UK. So what's really interesting is now on average it's about 1 in 11 people who are considered to be working in a creative role or creative economy job. So that's a huge number, and that's really, really exciting as well, because it just shows that it's something people want to actively go and do, they want to get involved in. It's becoming a really popular career path as well. This section in the center just shows you kind of in numbers how many jobs that actually relates to. So this section B in the middle, where it's just over 1 million jobs, that's people who are working in a creative role within the creative industry. So for instance, you are a fashion designer for a fashion label, really straightforward, creative job, creative industry. But there's also other job opportunities outside of that. So C on this picture, the kind of light yellow box, that actually refers to jobs which are creative jobs, but actually outside of the creative industries. So if you're a marketing manager or marketing assistant working for a healthcare company, for instance, your role is still very much creative, and that employer is still going to be looking for those creative skills when hiring you, even though you're not necessarily working for a creative industry as such. So there is a wide range of opportunities, and again, this infographic is last taken from 2018, so there'll be updates in kind of the coming months of what 2020 looks like. But I think it's a really exciting time to be considering studying in the UK, especially as we know that the post-study work visa is being reintroduced in the UK. We don't exactly know what that's going to look like yet, as IDP will know very well. But when we do, it's a really exciting opportunity because there is growth in these industries. And it's particularly good news for Goldsmiths as a creative university that our graduates can make the most of that and actually choose to stay in the UK if they want to.
โอเคครับก็ในสไลด์เนี่ยครับคุณเอล่าก็ได้บอกว่าการเรียนทางด้านสายออกแบบสายครีเอทีฟนะครับมันไม่ได้หมายความว่าน้องๆเนี่ยเรียนจบมาแล้วอะครับจะทำอย่างต้องไปทำเรื่องเกี่ยวกับการออกแบบอย่างเดียวต้องไปทำด้านแฟชั่นต้องไปทำด้านการออกแบบผลิตภัณฑ์อย่างเดียวการที่น้องเรียนทางด้านสายครีเอทีฟมาครับน้องอาจจะต้องไปเรียนแล้วก็ทำงานเป็นทางด้านสายมาร์เก็ตติ้งก็ได้เกี่ยวกับด้านแบรนด์คอมมิวนิเคชันก็ได้ดังการที่เราเรียนจบทางด้านสายครีเอทีฟมาครับมันไม่ได้หมายความว่าเราเรียนจบปุ๊บแล้วเราต้องไปทำด้านสายนั้นๆในด้านครีเอทีฟอย่างเดียวแต่ว่าน้องจะทำออกมานอกสายงานครีเอทีฟที่ยังต้องใช้เรื่องจินตนาการความคิดสร้างสรรค์อยู่เหมือนกันซึ่งในสไลด์นี้ครับสรุปได้ดีมากคือบอกว่าในปี 2018 อะครับงานทางด้านสาย Creative Industry ในประเทศอังกฤษเนี่ยมีสูงมากถึง 3.2 ล้านตำแหน่ง 3.2 ล้านนะครับนี้เมื่อปี 2018 นะแล้วพออันนี้มาปี 2020 แล้วอะลองคิดดูสิครับว่าตัวเลขตอนนี้มันจะสูงขึ้นขนาดไหนอันนี้พี่แบงค์ลองให้น้องๆกลับไปคิดดูนะครับถึงการเรียนทางด้านสาย Creative เนี่ยบอกได้เลยว่าตอนนี้เรียกว่าเรามาทางด้านสายยุคดิจิตอลแล้วอะครับทุกอย่างที่เราใช้ผลิตภัณฑ์ทุกอย่างที่เราใช้ตอนนี้มันต้องใช้ความคิดสร้างสรรค์ในการออกแบบใช่ไหมอันที่สองครับการเติบโตทางด้านสายงานนี้ค่อนข้างสูงอันที่สี่นะครับโอกาสของการที่เราจะเข้าถึงเรื่องพวกงานสายอาชีพเยอะมากๆนะครับ3 เหตุผลนะครับคือเหตุผลที่ดีมากเลยที่ว่าทำไมประเทศอังกฤษเนี่ยถึงเป็นประเทศที่อาจจะเหมาะกับการไปเรียนต่อทางด้านสายครีเอทีฟนะจุดนี้นะครับเดี๋ยวพี่ลองเปลี่ยนสไลด์นะครับเดี๋ยวไป and this one must be what is that
Yes, I don't know if anyone recognises this, but this is a little snapshot from London. That's the London Eye you can see there. Goldsmiths is based in London. So if I could just have the next slide, Pack.
Right.
London this is our skyline. You might recognise it if you visited or from films and TV shows. London has repeatedly been voted the best student city. And I think there are a number of reasons for that. One of which is just how much there is to see and do in the city, how creative it is, which is really helpful for Goldsmiths, but also just kind of the extracurricular opportunities it gives you as a student if you are living in London. If I could just take the next slide off your pack. Yeah, so here's some images again you might recognize, but in terms of kind of the statistics of what there is to see and do in London, London's a similar size to Bangkok, so 620 square miles. It's very similar size to Bangkok. 8 million inhabitants, also very similar to the number of people living in Bangkok. So if you guys live in Bangkok or are from Bangkok and you're familiar with kind of that hustly bustly city lifestyle, then you won't be disappointed in London because it has a very similar busy feel to it. In terms of what there is to do, obviously we're one of the major European capitals, so we have a real history of culture and history to explore. So there's a fantastic amount of museums, 250 to be exact. There's also so much to do in terms of the arts as well, so theatres, cinemas, musical performances, 32,000 musical performances per year, which blows my mind. I'm not quite sure how that's possible, but there you go. And also as a city, it's really, really kind of international. So we have 300 different languages spoken within the city, which again is really kind of a fantastic thing to be part of. It's very multicultural, and you will meet people from all over the world when living in London. That's something that very much comes across in our campus as well, which has a very international feel to it. We welcome students from 141 different countries onto campus as well. So that's something that you can really benefit from. And it just means you get a real global network when you study with us, of fellow students, but also our academics are from around the world as well, or are studying different aspects from around the world. So yeah, it's going to give you a really kind of international perspective and experience, and being both in London and at Goldsmiths. In terms of the student population in London as well, this also blows my mind. 500,000 students in the city. So you certainly won't feel alone. And it also means that everything kind of is available for students. You know, there's lots of places doing student deals, student discounts. There's lots of different opportunities to go and visit and see things by using kind of your student status to get tickets. So yeah, it's a really welcoming place to be a student as well.
So Goldsmith itself is really, it is inside London, right? Or at least really like 10 minutes to travel around. It's so easy to be in. And so my question is, what would be the things that you would recommend international students to be doing if they are in Goldsmith for this year? What are some of the things that they must not be missed out if they live in London?
That's a good question. It's a really hard question to answer because there is so many things to do.
Things, right? Yeah, right.
Yeah, so maybe I'll just give you a couple of things that I enjoy doing, and I know some of the students here that are studying with us enjoy doing. One of the things that's really cool that happens in London when we're not in lockdown, I should say, is that a lot of the museums and galleries do lates, they call them. So they'll do a Thursday or a Friday evening. They'll actually open late. And it's an opportunity when you finish class to go into the city centre, go and visit a gallery and museum, but not only to see the exhibitions that are happening, but they'll also put on things like live lectures, they'll put on musical performances, and there'll be drinks and food to enjoy. There's sometimes cinema screenings in the museums as well. So it's a really fantastic evening out, and it's also usually either free or very low cost for a ticket as well. So that's something that's well worth exploring. Another thing that I love to do, really enjoy if I have a weekend and it's nice weather, I like to go to South Bank. So South Bank is along the River Thames. You can see there the London Eye on the screen. London Eye is actually on South Bank, but it's also very close to Westminster, so you can see Big Ben, and you can walk along the river past the London Eye all the way to Tower Bridge, and the views are fantastic. It's some of the most iconic landmarks in the city, but also it's some fantastic restaurants. There's a food market next to Tower Bridge that you can explore. So that's a really fun afternoon out if you want to really kind of experience the centre of London as well.
It sounds like being in London is some of the exceptional experience people are really seeking for.
Yeah, I think it really is kind of a fantastic place to live. And as students, you get the benefit of not kind of just having a holiday there and being a tourist, but actually living and breathing kind of the city life, and maybe being able to explore areas that you otherwise wouldn't have had chance to if you came as a visitor. Like Bangkok, London has obviously a centre, but we also have lots of other areas which have so much to see and do as well. You know, it's like a lot of people come to London and they spend all their time in Zone 1. So that's the center of the city, but that's like coming to Bangkok and just going to Siam. So, you know, there's so much more than just that to see and do in the city. And you mentioned that we're close to the city center. That's true. We are based in Zone 2. And you'll be able to see that in a second because we have a map to show you. But being in Zone 2, it means that we're a 10-minute train ride from London Bridge Station, so very easy to get into the city centre. But also as a separate area within the city, we have our own thing going on in the local area, you know, bars, restaurants, cinemas, loads of things to see and do, shopping, all sorts of things to kind of see and do without even leaving the local area.
So now that we already touched on why study creative degree in London, why live in London, and why not start talking about who Goldsmith really is?
Yeah, good question. So we really benefit, as I've said already, from being in London, because not only do we have great networks with some of these creative industry businesses and companies and organizations within the city, but it also allows students to have access to them, which is fantastic. As a university, we've been around for a long, long time, about 175 years,
Wow.
and we've been a member of the University of London since 1904 as well. So, quite a few years
It's a
after.
long history to have.
A long history, absolutely. But that doesn't stop us being a very modern university, and I think that's a really great balance in that we have this long history, but we also have this real modern focus and this very future focused approach to our degrees. In terms of the university, we have around 10,000 students in total from 140 countries, as I said. So we aren't a huge university, and I think it has a really nice community feel to it. Because we aren't huge, it also means that the cohort on each program isn't ever going to be as big as maybe some other universities in the UK. So you get a really good level of access to academics while studying with us. The ratio is actually 15:1, so 15 students to every staff member. And again, that's a really kind of favourable balance, and it means that you're going to have good access to the staff while you're studying with us. And as is pointed out here on this slide, we are a single site campus. That might sound strange to you because a lot of universities have just one location, but actually in London it's quite rare. A lot of London universities are spread across the city, so it does mean that you have to travel between classes or to get to different facilities. Goldsmiths is very lucky to have everything in one place. We do have some art studios a little further away, but they're just a 10-minute walk from campus. Everything else is in one place. So it's very easy to kind of study and then nip to the library and go get some food with your friends without having to actually leave the one location.
So
Sorry.
I can see a very good point there on the slide. And it's talk about influential alumni.
Absolutely.
Do you have Thai alumni that are successful and that they are already back in Thailand doing something about their degree, of course?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And when I was visiting Thailand in January with work, I met up with some of our even just recent alumni from the last 2, 3, 4 years, and who have come back to Thailand and are already being successful in what they have chosen to do for employment. I will talk a little bit later in particular about one of our alumni called May, who has recently won the UK Alumni Awards through the British Council for her social impact. So I'll talk about her a little bit later on. But just to mention some others, I recently met with alumni from our Creative and Cultural Entrepreneurship Programme who have started their own business. One guy called Pop, who studied design, a creative entrepreneurship course with us, he has now opened up his own interiors design company, and he travels to Japan and to Paris to do the trade shows, the homeware trade shows, and he has his products in retailers in Bangkok, and is doing really, really fantastically well there as well. I met with another another alumni who studied creative education with us. So she studied within our Department of Education, but particularly looking at creative education and arts education. And she is now a lecturer teaching on that area as well. So, you know, our alumni definitely do find kind of really interesting career paths. And many of them open their own businesses. Many of them work in the industry in which they studied, which is ultimately the goal. So that's really, really fantastic.
That's very good point, Ella. Thank you. So let me just put it in Thai for all the audience. ครับก็มหาวิทยาลัยโกลด์สมิธนะครับมีประวัติยาวนานมากนะครับก็คือยาวนานกว่า120 ปีแล้วก็ที่สำคัญนะครับ ที่อยากบอกให้ทุกคนรู้ทราบถึงวันนี้ก็คือว่าเขาอะครับมีความสามารถเฉพาะตัวในทางด้านสาย creative แล้วก็ political science ค่อนข้างเยอะมากนะครับที่สำคัญครับเมื่อกี้ที่พี่แบงค์ถามคุณเอล่าไปก็คือว่าการเรียนสายดีกรีแต่ละสายเนี่ยแน่นอนว่าเราอยากที่จะไปเรียนในที่มีเรียกว่ามีผลงานมีความสำเร็จของนักเรียนไทยรุ่นพี่คนไทยเรามาแล้วอะครับว่ามีคนไทยไปเรียนมาแล้วประสบความสำเร็จอะไรมาบ้างคุณเอล่าบอกว่าเดี๋ยววันนี้คุณเอล่าจะมาพูดให้เราฟังด้วยนะครับว่านักเรียนไทยที่ไปเรียนแล้วประสบความสำเร็จกลับมาไทยแล้วเขาทำอะไรกันอยู่เนี่ยเดี๋ยวเขาจะมาแชร์ให้เราฟังว่าอารัมไนเน็ตเวิร์กของโกลด์สมิธในประเทศไทยเป็นยังไงบ้างเพราะว่าน้องๆแน่นอนครับไปเรียนต้องอยากที่จะกลับมาแล้วก็มีคอนเนคชั่นถูกต้องไหมไม่ว่าจะเป็นการหางานหรือว่าต้องการมั่นใจว่ามหาวิทยาลัยที่ฉันไปเรียนเนี่ยเป็นมหาวิทยาลัยที่เรียกว่าเป็นที่รู้จักของนายจ้างนะเป็นที่รู้จักของคนในวงการนะบอกได้เลยครับโกลด์สมิธมีนักเรียนไทยที่เป็นศิษย์เก่าแน่นอนแล้วก็มีหลายรุ่นด้วยเดี๋ยวยังไงเดี๋ยวเราจะแชร์กันเพิ่มเติมนะครับอันนี้ขอบคุณมากๆนะครับสำหรับคำถามที่เริ่มแชทกันเข้ามาในแชทบ็อกซ์แล้วเดี๋ยวจะถามให้เดี๋ยวจะค่อยๆทยอยถามให้นะคำถามเยอะมากเลยใครมีคำถามอะไรถามเข้ามาในแชทบ็อกซ์ได้เลยนะครับเดี๋ยวพี่แบงค์จะตอบกลับแล้วก็มีคำถามเรื่องอยากสมัครหรือเรื่องอะไรเนี่ยแชทบ็อกซ์เข้ามาได้เลยครับเดี๋ยวมีทีมงาน IDP เข้าไปจัดการเรื่องการจัดเตรียมเอกสารให้กับน้องๆทุกคนด้วยนะครับ so sorry about that
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
yeah we were touching about why having alumni successful alumni is so important to go to a creative degree because it's the evidence of everything right the portfolio is the evidence of how good the university is and I share to the audience sneak peek of course that we are going to talk about Thai alumni in this session today too.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, and it mentioned on the last slide that we're a member of the University of London. So for those of you that don't know, the University of London is sort of like an umbrella organisation, but they do also run their own degrees as well. So all of these universities you can see listed here are members of the University of London, including some really, really, internationally known universities like LSE and King's. So it's a really prestigious thing to be part of. But as a student, what you benefit from being part of the University of London is the network. So not only are you a member of the Goldsmiths network, where there are currently 10,000 students and, alumni all over the world, but also the University of London network, where there's 500,000 students worldwide. So that's huge, and that's something that's really, really worth making use of. The University of London has services that our students can access as well, such as a careers services, a housing services. So in terms of the careers services, it's actually the largest in Europe. So because of the massive amount of graduate talent that the University of London universities have, a lot of really big employers will come to this careers services and advertise their vacancies with the University of London, and then they will come through to your inbox. You can set up job alerts and things like that to find out more. So that's really exciting because it's not just careers and graduate jobs, it's also placements, it's also kind of short-term internships and things like that as well that you can find out about. But you also have the more bespoke careers services at Goldsmiths, where you can sit down with a careers counsellor, talk through your options, go through your CV. So you're really benefiting from having both of those networks.
So being in the University of London system is meaning you are inside the network.
Exactly.
And you are sharing the same resources also for job opportunities too.
Absolutely, yeah. So you're sharing the same services. You can share, in some cases, some facilities as well. So for instance,
and facilities.
Yes, so for instance, Senate House Library, it's based in Russell Square, Euston area, so in the middle of London. It's one of the largest libraries in London. And as a University of London student, you can actually sign up to get membership to that library so that you can go and use their resources as well. It's really fantastic to be able to have that because it's so huge as well. So definitely make use of that.
Fantastic. คือการที่เราเรียนต่อที่ Goldsmiths อะครับทางด้านสายเนี้ยคือเขาอยู่ภายใต้ umbrella หรือว่า umbrella เกี่ยวกับ University of London System หมายความว่าการที่น้องไปเรียนที่ Goldsmiths น้องจะเข้าไปอยู่ในระบบของ University of London นะครับการที่น้องอยู่ในระบบเนี่ยหมายความว่าน้องจะแชร์ resource เดียวกัน facility บางทีน้องก็จะสามารถใช้ข้ามมหาลัยได้ resource ต่างๆเรื่องการสัมมนาการจัดงานการทำนู่นทำนี่ต่างๆน้องสามารถเข้าไปในเน็ตเวิร์กของเขาได้เลยซึ่งใน University of London เนี่ยน้องลองดูสไลด์ทางด้านซ้ายครับมีรายชื่อมหาวิทยาลัยที่แบบเรียกว่าสุดยอดเลยเนอะเต็มเลยอะครับก็เดี๋ยวเราลองดูกันต่อนิดนึงสไลด์ต่อไปนะที่พี่ยังดูในโพยก็คือจะพูดเกี่ยวกับเรื่อง department แล้วว่าแต่ละ department เนี่ยของที่ Goldsmiths เขามี department อะไรบ้างแล้วก็หวังว่าจะสามารถตอบคำถามของน้องใน chat box ได้ด้วยบางส่วนนะครับโอเคElla we currently have a lot of questions on the chat box right now a lot of them is to do with creative degrees so I will be asking this toward the Q&A session to you
Okay.
right so now we will go ahead and do your introduction to your department.
Yeah, absolutely. So Goldsmiths has 18 departments in total. You'll notice here there's no sort of core science or maths departments, and that's because we pretty much focus on all creative degrees. So that's everything from humanities subjects, social sciences, all the way through to the creative arts as well, and that's what we specialize in. I have actually picked up on just 3 departments that are really popular with Thai students and Thai applicants. So I'll talk a little bit more about the programs we offer in those 3 departments. But as you can see, there's a lot of different choice. So if there's anything listed here that I don't mention in the next few slides, we have a lot of information on our website, or you can reach out to me to find out what exact programs we offer in those fields. If I can just have the next slide back on media and communications. So our department of media, communications and cultural studies is currently ranked, we're currently ranked 7th in the world in the QS rankings for the study of media and communications. So we are very, very well known internationally for this field of study. And it means that our academic team are, you know, doing some fantastic cutting edge research. They're some of the best in the world for what they do as well. So that's really exciting. We have MAs in media and communications, brands, communications and culture, promotional media, public relations, advertising and marketing. These 3 are possibly the most popular with our Thai students. Really, which one you choose depends on which direction you want to take your career, but also what your background is as well. Our MA in media and communications is quite flexible. It has some core modules, but it also allows students to take up to 90 credits across a range of different media choices. So that means it's actually very, very flexible in terms of what you choose to specialize in, what you choose to study, because it's your choice. You get a list of around 30 different options and you're going to choose from that. So it really gives you flexibility. Brands, communications and culture and promotional media, public relations, advertising, marketing. These are popular with students who have a communications background and are maybe more ready to specialize in a particular aspect of media and global communications as well. The other thing I've put on this screen is our MA filmmaking program. The reason I've mentioned this is because it's also very popular with Thai students. I know you have a few really fantastic filmmaking programs in your universities in Bangkok, and we do get applications from those programs. But I will mention that this is possibly our most competitive program of all. We have different pathways available that you can see here, from cinematography, directing, fiction, editing, production, all the way through to documentaries. So not only is it quite specialized in its general content, but also you're then going to choose a pathway, whether it is that you want to go into production or editing or directing. So that's going to shape the way the course leads you, and also the opportunities you might want to go into afterwards, because of the sort of portfolio you'll build throughout that program. It's very, very competitive because not only is it very internationally known, we've had some fantastic alumni who have won. For instance, Steve McQueen, who's an Oscar-winning director, studied with us, amongst others. So, you know, we have a really good reputation for this study. But also we have a capped limit. So actually what we want to do on this program is make sure that every directing student can be paired up with an editing student and a production student, to make sure we can produce fantastic final pieces of work. And therefore it is capped, and therefore it is very competitive. So I thought I'd mention that one because it is popular, and just tell you a little bit about that. I will be talking in a second about portfolios, which is certainly something you would need to apply for the filmmaking program, and hopefully I can give you some tips on that as well in a second.
Mhm. We have a question here.
Yeah.
The student asked if the courses at your university focusing more on theory or more on practical part ก็เดี๋ยวสำหรับคำถามที่แบงค์ถามไปเมื่อกี้ครับพอดีมีคำถามหนึ่งถามมาแล้วพี่แบงค์ว่าประเด็นดีมากคือถามว่ามหาวิทยาลัยเนี่ยครับสอนเน้นทฤษฎีหรือเน้นภาคปฏิบัติแล้วมันจะดีต่อตัวน้องๆยังไงนะครับElla back to you what would be your response to this question
really really good question so our filmmaking course for instance would be almost entirely practical so you know the real focus is on the practical skills of filmmaking and on producing pieces of work which are feature length or short films as a result of studying the program. We do have more theory-based film courses, so we have an MA in Film Studies, which would be looking more at the theory behind film, but this one in particular would be practical. With our media and communications courses, these MAs are quite theory-based overall. There will be options within the optional modules to take more practical media-led modules, but overall, we're really looking at the theory. So for instance, something like PR, advertising and marketing, it's really getting into the study of those three industries and understanding how they relate to one another, what the conflicts are, how we can work together within that to create a media environment which is going to work for the future and you know any issues there are now that need to be kind of addressed within the media community, because there are a lot of really interesting things to discuss around media at the moment, such as fake news, for instance, which is a huge global thing.
On the digital world right now.
Exactly, yeah, and also things like the effects of social media on our decisions. So our political decisions, our economic decisions are all very impacted by the social media that we take in every day through our phones. So all of these are things and ideas that are discussed and kind of tackled within the course for our students to bring their own ideas, but also come to their own conclusions based on research they do around the ideas and the problems as well. If somebody was looking for a more practical media-based course, we also have MAs in journalism, which are going to be much more practical, looking at actually training you in the skills to be a journalist. But these particular courses here are going to be more on the theory side.
โอเคครับก็อย่างว่าไปครับคือ Goldsmiths เนี่ยเขาเป็นมหาวิทยาลัยที่ถ้าเกิดทางด้าน Media Communication กับ Cultural Studies เนี่ยเขาอยู่อันดับ 7 ของโลกนะครับเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยการเรียนของเขาแน่นอนครับเขาพยายามที่จะหาสิ่งที่บาลานซ์ที่สุดทั้งทางด้าน practical theory ด้วยแล้วก็การด้าน hand on ต่างๆด้วยนะครับเพราะฉะนั้นถ้าเกิดน้องๆสนใจในคณะต่างๆเหล่านี้เดี๋ยวน้องๆเดี๋ยวลองยิงคำถามเข้ามาเพิ่มหรือว่าฝากข้อมูลไว้กับที่พี่ IDP ที่เป็นเจ้าหน้าที่ก็ได้นะครับเดี๋ยวลอง move ใน slide next when we go to the next slide now พอดีjust I will add something to this พอดีเห็นมีน้องๆบางคนถามเข้ามาเกี่ยวกับเรื่อง VF virtual effect แล้วก็ computing ด้วยครับก็คิดว่าน่าจะมีในนี้นะครับ so Ella we have some question on computing and virtual effects is this something we will be also discussed in here brand management and all
so this particular course you can see here, this is designed for students who want to start their own business. We offer different pathways so that we can break down the course into the type of business that student is looking to start. So for instance, if it was a student who's worked in visual effects and thinks, you know what, I want to start my own company doing this, I want to work freelance or whatever it might be and develop my own client base, then actually doing a course like this in the computing pathway would be a good way to gain the skills to understand how to start that business and how to have a business which exists within the creative industries as well. So that's what this program is designed to do. If it was a student with maybe a computer science background who's looking to go into visual effects or virtual reality or something like that, I would recommend our creative computing courses, which are going to be more focused on developing your skills in creative computing as opposed to developing your entrepreneurial skills. So there'd be two potential options for a student interested in computing, but this particular program is certainly for somebody who wants to start their own business. That's the main goal of this course.
ก็คือเรียนหลักสูตรที่2ที่เขาแนะนำมาว่าเป็น popular course ของนักเรียนไทยก็คือเกี่ยวกับเรื่องการเรียนด้าน entrepreneurship นั่นหมายถึงว่าถ้าเกิดสิ่งที่น้องๆอยากเรียนทางด้าน creative ไปแล้วแต่ว่าcreative อย่างเดียวไม่พออยากที่จะเป็นผู้ประกอบการด้วยนะครับหลักสูตรนี้คือหลักสูตรที่เหมาะมากๆไม่ว่าน้องจะเรียนไปทางด้าน computing อย่างเนี้ยเมื่อกี้คุณเอลาพูดเกี่ยวกับเรื่องเรียนเป็นvirtual reality นะครับก็คือเหมือนแบบสวมหมวกเข้าไปแล้วเข้าไปอยู่ในโลกคอมพิวเตอร์หรือว่าเป็นทางด้าน computing ไปเลยดีไซน์แฟชั่นมีเดียมิวสิกถ้าน้องๆอยากที่จะมีความสามารถความคิดสร้างสรรค์ในการสร้างเรียกว่าสร้างธุรกิจเป็นผู้ประกอบการทางด้านเนี่ยครับหลักสูตรนี้ก็ถือว่าเป็นหลักสูตรหนึ่งที่น่าสนใจมากๆนะครับโอเค
Yeah.
Yes.
So I will say about this course before we head on to the next slide. These courses, students need to submit a business plan as part of their application. It doesn't need to be very long. It's just sort of like an elevator pitch, so a short paragraph explaining their business idea, explaining what it is they want to kind of gain from starting this business as well. So maybe the goals and the aims of the business idea as well. And that is used as a case study throughout this degree, where you will essentially look at how you can launch that business. So that's looking at the financial aspects, that's looking at project management skills, looking at kind of competitor analysis and understanding the market. So it has those business aspects, but it's still helping you develop your skills in one of these streams. So if you are a designer and you want to start your own design business, like the alumni I just mentioned, who started his own interior design company, he studied our design pathway in creative and cultural entrepreneurship, and that gave him the skills to be able to then return to Thailand and launch that business with understanding the process to do that. So that's the aim of this course.
ครับก็คือน้องๆที่สนใจคณะเนี่ยครับการสมัครเนี่ยก็คือต้องเขียน business plan ด้วยนะเพราะว่าการเรียนเป็นผู้ประกอบการนะครับเราจะต้องมี business plan ด้วยว่าฉันเรียนจบมาแล้วฉันมองว่าฉันจะอยากทำธุรกิจด้านไหนฉันจะทำยังไงเพราะฉะนั้นวิชาที่น้องๆเรียนจะไม่ใช่เกี่ยวกับเรื่องความคิดสร้างสรรค์อย่างเดียวแล้วจะเป็นเกี่ยวกับเรื่องการบริหารความคิดสร้างสรรค์ของน้องๆให้ออกมาเป็นรูปแบบธุรกิจให้ได้ไม่ว่าจะเป็นทางด้านการวางแผนด้าน project management finance accounting หรือว่า negotiation marketing ต่างๆน้องๆจะได้เรียนทุกอย่างนะครับรวบรัดในนี้นะครับผม Okay, to the next slide.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
And then the last one I'm going to mention today, even though as you've seen we have over 18 different departments, so I could go on forever, but I won't, don't worry, is our Department of Design. So Goldsmiths is very, very well known for art and design. We're ranked 11th in the world in the QS rankings. So again, a really strong international reputation. And the reason I want to mention this program is it is popular in Thailand, but also it's quite unusual in its structure. It's a 15-month master's as opposed to a 12-month. And the reason for that is there is an extended study portion, which you can see there at the bottom. And as part of that additional 3 months, that extended study, you have the option to do any one of these choices. So that's a professional placement where you'll actually go into industry for 3 months, a masterclass where you're looking to develop practical skills, summer school, we have partnerships in Europe with various design schools, field research, or take part in a conference. So there's lots of different options of how you can spend that additional few months. And I think it really adds to the overall qualification that you're gaining. You're not only gaining your MA, but you're potentially gaining professional experience, or even more international experience, or having taken part in a conference. All great things to talk about on your CV. Here you'll see our list of studios. So these are a little bit like pathways. Students do have to choose one of these in which they're going to explore, and it's an MA which is in design, so we expect students to have a design background, but actually want to take that a bit further through this program by choosing one of these studios to explore based on their practice. So for instance, if you're a designer who works mainly with textiles, you might be looking to go into the fashion and embodiment studio. If you're a product designer, for instance, you might be looking at innovation and service or interaction and engagement. So it's really kind of whatever fits best with your background and whatever you want to do to study more to gain additional both practical and theory experience as well.
Great. So out of all this, there's a few that you mentioned you would need some academic background before student make applications.
Yeah.
But what about some courses? Like I have some question here asking about brand management and digital content media marketing. So are these courses require certain background and require academic background?
Not necessarily. So our Department of Design is a little bit unique in that obviously you're going to need to, well, I say unique, we have quite a number of programs where you're going to need to have a relevant background and also a portfolio, and this is certainly one of those, as is filmmaking, for instance. Something like brand management, we have luxury brand management as an option, and it does welcome students with different academic backgrounds. However, it needs to be in some way relevant or related to studying brand management at master's level. That doesn't mean you need to have done management at undergraduate level. You could have maybe done something to do with marketing or even communications, or maybe even a creative background, but you want to learn more about how to manage a brand. It's, as long as it feels like a natural progression and that you can demonstrate in your personal statement why it is that you want to study brand management. At Goldsmiths, the personal statement is actually really, really important. And because our courses are quite unique in many ways, we use the personal statement to not only make sure that you're right for the course, but also make sure that the course is right for you. Ultimately, we don't want you to join a program expecting it to be something and it to be a bit different. So we use the personal statement as well as sometimes an interview process as well, to make sure that we're opening that conversation, that dialogue with you, and making sure this is the right choice for you. Something like brand management, the brand management we offer is luxury brand management. So if a student writes their entire personal statement around, for instance, fashion management, it's not going to be quite the right fit for them, because fashion is only going to be one aspect that is looked at in the course, and that student might be better suited to doing fashion management elsewhere. Our luxury brand management degree looks at all luxury industries, so that's everything from fashion, of course, through to like galleries and art exhibitions, through to hospitality and hotel industries, automobile, jewelry, cosmetics, whatever it might be. It's looking at the broader picture of luxury brand. So yes, that one is an example. You wouldn't necessarily need to have a directly related background, but you'd have to have a strong personal statement that demonstrates why you're interested in luxury brand.
Right. Great. So let's move on to the next slide.
Okay, so I've highlighted just a few of our programs there. Obviously, if there's anything else, quite a few things have been mentioned there, including digital media, luxury brand, all of these other programs. If you guys are interested in other things that aren't mentioned here today, the IDP counsellors are very familiar with our programs. They can certainly give you more advice. I can give you more advice, so do reach out if we've not touched on something that you're particularly interested in. But in terms of our degrees as a whole, I think it's really fantastic to see the sort of skills students leave the programs with. There's a lot of skills here which are really crucial to making our graduates employable. So problem solving, business and entrepreneurial skills, interpersonal skills, intrapersonal skills, communication skills, IT skills, and conceptual articulation skills. And many of these you will see on the person specification or the job specification for all sorts of different roles, even outside of creative industries. It's very, very common for an employer to be looking for their prospective employee to have communication skills, for instance, and problem solving skills. These are really, really valuable. And I think through studying a creative degree, you actually get the opportunity to develop these and put them into practice. You know, a lot of our courses will involve project-based work as well. So that's where some of those problem-solving skills will really come into play, where you'll be able to actually, you know, evidence in an interview afterwards how you solved a problem you may have encountered while doing a project as part of your course. Communication skills is really key at Goldsmiths, no matter which degree program you're on. We really encourage students to have the opportunity to speak up and voice their opinion in seminars and with their kind of fellow classmates as well. So, you know, that's really going to develop your soft skills, so to speak, of being able to communicate effectively as well. So these are skills, you know, that are really crucial in creative degrees, but are also applicable across all sorts of different industries. And I think that's ultimately what you're going to get having studied a creative degree, is skills that are transferable. Even if it was that you chose to potentially take a different career path after studying a degree in creative arts, for instance, there's still so much you can draw on here that are going to be worthwhile and valuable to employers.
It's actually very interesting, because when we talk about, when I talked to my mom when I was a teenager, my teenager self would say, I want to study anything in art and creative degree. My mom would be, so you'll be drawing pictures.
Yeah.
But when I look at the list here, it is not just about you are being there and design and draw all day. It seems like there's a lot of articulation going on. There's a lot of communication skill that you need to talk end on end with your coworkers. The problem that even an artist need to be solving. So you need to really think creatively and also analytically. There's also a business aspect to it. You can design something beautiful to use. For example, this phone here. But what's the use of design something that it will not launch into a real business, right? So doing something with a business degree, with an art degree nowadays also require your IT skills.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's a big part of what students will produce as part of their degree as well. So you'll be using IT skills, especially, you know, if you're in a degree that requires you to do projects on the computer. But also, if you're doing something like design, it's still going to be necessary for you to do research, give presentations, and produce kind of a written thesis around your kind of aspect of design as well. So we're developing those skills. It's not just all about being in the studio, for instance. There'll be other aspects to the degree. And I think by having those different aspects to the degree, you also gain a lot of time management, organization, planning skills, because you're balancing these different aspects of your study as well. So that's really valuable.
Yeah, that's amazing. Let's go to the next slide. Oh, wow. That's your campus?
Yes, it is. So now you can visualize it, everybody. I know it's quite hard to picture what it's like when you're sat at home in Bangkok, and what could Goldsmiths possibly look like. But this is us. So you can see kind of in the forefront of this image, there's a road, and then in the back of the image, there's kind of a large playing field, and then there's a road after that. They're kind of the limits of our campus. So it's all of that area you can see in between those two boundaries. The big building in the centre is the original Naval College, which is now used for teaching space. We also have our grand hall in there where we have graduation ceremonies. But also on this site, you have your library, of course, all the various studios. We also have cafeterias and different coffee shops. We have a student bar. We have a cinema. So there's both social and kind of academic facilities, so to speak, on this one site. So you don't actually have to necessarily leave during the day. If you have a gap between lectures, you can definitely fill your time with things to do on campus as well. And in terms of accommodation, we have one option on site, and we have several others in the surrounding area. So you'll see in a second when I show you a map exactly how close they are. But just because we say on campus, it doesn't mean the others are far away. The others can be anywhere from a 2-minute walk to a 10-minute walk. So there's lots of choice, which are very, very close as well. I can just take the next slide.
Oops.
So this is our, a bit of a mixture of different architectural styles, which I always find really interesting on our campus. So in the bottom left, you can see the original college. These other two images are our new design building. We affectionately call that the squiggle because of the piece of artwork that's on top there on the left, on the picture on the left. And that's also a viewing platform. So you can actually go up there, stand amongst that metal structure and look out on the great views of the London skyline. You can see in the distance there, that's the Shard, which is the largest skyscraper in London that you can see from our campus. So that's really nice as well. Okay, if I can take the next slide, Pat. Great. So in terms of rankings, I know everybody kind of has this in their mind when they're thinking about the university choice, and often parents will want to know about this as well. These are really important, I think, but they're not everything. When you're considering a university, you need to consider not just their rankings and their position, but also what they're going to offer you in terms of opportunities, what's going to be available in terms of course content, because that differs by university. So always make sure you're considering that as well. For creative subjects, Goldsmiths is ranked really, really highly, and I've mentioned this a little bit before. 11th in the world for art and design, 3rd in the UK for design, 7th in the world for media, top 50 for performing arts, so if we have any musicians or theatre students listening. And then for our other courses, which are, you know, our social sciences and our humanities-based degrees, we also rank really highly in the world rankings as well. So it's really fantastic. It does kind of give you a little bit of reassurance that your investment is into a university which has a really good standing. So these things are important. But yeah, particularly media and art and design, I think we have a particularly strong global reputation for those courses. And that's obviously going to be something that you can benefit from when you have Goldsmiths on your CV after graduating as well.
ครับก็คือน้องๆหลายๆคนเวลาเราเลือกคณะเรียนนะครับเราก็แน่นอนเราเลือกกันที่ ranking เนี่ยนักเรียนเราส่วนใหญ่เนี่ยก็คือดูก่อนเลยว่าไปเรียนมหาวิทยาลัยเนี้ย ranking อยู่ที่เท่าไหร่แล้วก็คณะอยู่ที่เท่าไหร่บอกได้เลยครับว่าการเลือกเรียนที่ของ Goldsmiths เนี่ยอย่างแรกเลยที่เราเห็นคืออันดับ11ของโลกใน Art and Design Program ลงมาด้วยอันดับ3ในประเทศอังกฤษนะครับทางด้าน Design and Art เหมือนกันต่อมาครับถ้าเราลงมาดูอีกเนี่ยเขาอยู่ถึงอันดับ7ของในประเทศอังกฤษเลยนะครับเกี่ยวกับด้าน Business Management กับ Marketing เห็นไหมครับว่าถึงแม้ว่าเขาจะเป็น Art and Design School เนี่ยเขาก็มีศักยภาพและมีความสามารถในทางด้านสอนนักเรียนทางด้าน Business and Management ได้เหมือนกันนะครับผมอันนี้สำหรับน้องๆที่อาจจะแบบดูสายทางด้าน Entrepreneurship หรือทางด้าน Marketing หรือ Brand Management ต่างๆนะครับก็อันนี้ก็ถือว่าเป็นตัวเลือกหนึ่งที่น่าสนใจมากๆแล้วก็อยู่ในลอนดอนด้วยนะครับผม
Okay, so just to show you a little bit more of exactly where we are, these dotted yellow lines are our campus boundaries. So where it says halls, that's essentially accommodation. So you can see we have one within the campus boundaries, but also across the road there are several. We have a few that are further away, where you might need to get a bus or the overground train to get to campus. But it's up to you how important being close by is, and you can actually put your preference if you're looking at Goldsmiths accommodation for the closer options if that's what you're looking for. Typically, our accommodation is a private room, a private bathroom, and a shared kitchen living area. So you do have your own facilities, which is really nice, but you also have that shared space with to mingle and socialize with other students. Right. So you can see in the center of this image, there's New Cross Gate and then our little station symbol. That is our local station. So it's just across the road from the campus entrance. You can get a train from New Cross Gate to London Bridge direct, and you can just see London Bridge there in the distance, and that takes 10 minutes. So I mentioned earlier that it's very easy to get into central London, and that's maybe that's one of a few different routes you could take, is to get this overground train. There's also buses available and things like that. But once you're in London Bridge, you can go across London, but you can also go to the rest of the UK as well, because it's a major train station. So if you want to get a train to a different city, maybe for the weekend, you also have the option to explore from there as well.
Okay. So Ella, I
Yeah.
think I will need to let's go to Thai alumni,
Yes.
because it is already 7 p.m. in Thailand, and some
Yes,
of
yes,
us
we do.
might need to go
Everybody's
off and
hungry.
ก็เดี๋ยวขอโทษน้องๆด้วยนะครับคือสัมมนาครั้งนี้มันยาวกว่าที่คิดไว้นิดนึงเนอะก็สำหรับเดี๋ยวพี่แบงค์จะรีบเร่งให้แล้วก็เดี๋ยวเราจะไปพูดกันเกี่ยวกับเรื่องอลัมนายคนไทยเลยนะครับนี่ต้องขอโทษด้วยนะครับเดี๋ยวเราจะข้ามช็อตไปเลยดีกว่านะครับเนี่ยอันนี้ก็เป็นรูปภาพในของแบบของตัวมหาลัยเนอะว่าเราทำอะไร facility ต่างๆเป็นยังไงบ้างนะครับอันนี้ให้ดูเป็นคร่าวๆนะครับแต่ว่าไปดูในสถานที่จริงเลยดีกว่าค่าเรียนที่นี่ปีละประมาณ 7-8 แสนนะครับค่าเรียนอย่างเดียวส่วนค่ากินค่าอยู่ที่ประมาณเดือนละประมาณ 50,000 นะครับเรื่องการ portfolio I will just explain to them a little bit on this one
Yeah, absolutely.
นะครับคือถ้าเกิดน้องๆจะเรียนทางด้านcreative degree เนี่ยแน่นอนสิ่งที่น้องต้องมีคือportfolio นะครับที่แสดงให้เห็นว่าน้องเนี่ยมีความสามารถในการที่จะใช้สื่อต่างๆวาดเขียนดีไซน์ออกแบบได้ว่าจะเป็นทางด้านการใช้งานฝีมือหรือว่าเป็นการพิมพ์หรือว่าเป็นการตัวอย่างงานนะครับอันนี้เราก็ควรมีถามว่า portfolio แบบไหนดีที่สุดก็ สำหรับน้องๆที่จะสมัครเรียนอยู่ครับก็ต้องติดต่อพี่ IDP เข้ามาก็เพราะว่าพี่ๆก็จะเจอนักเรียนหลายๆคนครับที่สนใจไปเรียนทางด้านอาร์ตเนี่ยเราก็จะมี advice มีคำแนะนำมีอะไรพวกนี้ทุกอย่างให้นะครับผมเดี๋ยวมาดูเรื่องอลัมไนกันเลยดีกว่านะครับwho is this lady over here
So this is one of our current students. She's actually an undergraduate student with us. So she'll probably be in her final year now, actually. But she's studying media and communications with us. And this is just a bit of a profile we did on her to find out why she chose Goldsmiths. Obviously, an undergraduate degree is a bit of a commitment. It's a 3-year degree. But she chose to study media with us because she really enjoyed the balance between theory and practical work. So it's at the undergraduate level, it's a 50% split. At master's level, it's more theory-based. But I think what she really enjoyed about that is just the opportunities it gave her to explore both those issues we discussed earlier, get around the discussion of what's happening with global media currently, but also apply that through practical work. And she's really benefited and really enjoyed living close to campus. So she lives really close to campus. She can walk in and she can kind of make the most of the community that is there. And she's met people from all over the world and enjoyed being able to socialize in London with new friends from all over the world, which is a really fantastic kind of experience to have. So she was in her second year when she wrote this, so that now she'll be in her third year. And when she joined, she wasn't exactly sure what sort of career she wanted to have. And I think this can be the case with some students who join our MA in media and communications as well. They know they want to work within media and communications industries, but they're not necessarily exactly sure what aspect of that they want to do. And the reason why that MA is particularly popular is because, as I mentioned earlier, it has some flexibility. It allows you to choose from a range of different media modules. So you can sort of feel your way out a little bit and try to decide what might be right for you through the process of learning more about it. And that's also what Pritchaba enjoyed about her bachelor's degree. Prior to joining the media and communications department, she didn't know she had a love of photography, and then she's really developed that through her practical module choices as well. So that's really fantastic. If we can move on to the next slide, that's one of our alumni. So that was our current student. This is one of our alumni right now, who's called May. And she studied our creative and cultural entrepreneurship in the music pathway. So she had a background in music. She was interested in music. But she actually had a business idea that she wanted to take further, and she took this program to learn about how to actually develop that and launch that. And since doing that, she's launched a business called Here and Found. It's a musical arts organization in Thailand, and the organization is looking at how we can use music and performance to bring together people from different communities. So she actually travels around Thailand with Here and Found, and speaking with people and musicians from different provinces, and looking particularly at indigenous music that exists in a certain province of Thailand or a certain community, and looks at bringing that into performances that are open to the public, so that other people can learn about this music and learn about this tradition from their own culture that they might not be aware of. So it's a bit of a cultural exchange through music organization. It's really fantastic. If you check out their Facebook page, they've got pictures of performances they've done around Thailand in different cities, and it's really fantastic. But in terms of the recognition she's received for her work, she won the UK Alumni Awards with the British Council this January, which is a fantastic, really prestigious award to receive, and she won the social impact category. I attended the awards evening, and she was up against 4 other candidates for this one award who were equally impressive, really, really impressive. So she did fantastically well to win this. She's also, as you can see there, been on TED Talks talking about the work she's doing. She's featured in magazines and talking about creative business and how to develop creative business in Thailand as well. So she's a fantastic ambassador, both for the university and for the creative arts in Thailand. So we're really, really, really proud of what she's gone on to do.
Yeah, and who would have think that like study in creative business can bring you to the point of being a guest speaker for TED Talk, get an award from British Council, and it's really highly competitive award at that too. So I think the key of being in the creative business is how to really make yourself different, right? Otherwise, it won't be creative.
Exactly, yeah, and it won't be successful if it doesn't offer something new. And that's what we really try to get students thinking about and doing in their planning for the project they're looking to launch, is really thinking about how it can be different from what's already out there. And that comes back to all those skills we mentioned earlier around creativity and problem solving. You have to understand where there's a gap in the market, where there's a need, in order to produce something that's then going to be successful. So yeah, that's what we really encourage students to do.
And we have our Thai alumni. How about our international alumni?
Yeah, so yeah, what we always say at Goldsmiths is that our alumni network has had some of the biggest impact on popular and modern culture of any university in the UK. And the reason for that is, amongst our alumni, you have artists, you have fashion designers, you have film directors, you have musicians. So in terms of the influence we're having on popular culture, it is really, really huge and really exciting. And a lot of these people are internationally known as well. So for instance, I'm sure everybody's heard of Vivienne Westwood, the fashion designer. She has stores all over the world with her collections. Damien Hirst is a Turner Prize winning artist, but we actually have now 8 Turner Prize winning artists who have graduated from our art programs at Goldsmiths as well. So we're doing really well in that our alumni, I say we're just the first cog in the wheel. Our alumni go on to do some really fantastic things, and we're so proud of them, and we're proud to have been part of their journey, in enabling them to kind of study their craft more and then go on to do these fantastic things. So just to pull out a couple of others from this list, you can see on the bottom left, that's Steve McQueen, who's an Oscar-winning director for Best Picture. He directed 12 Years a Slave, if you've heard of that film. And yeah, musicians, Grammy Award-winning musicians. So yeah, it's a really fantastic alumni network to be part of, absolutely. And I think it's something Goldsmiths is really proud of, and something we're really looking forward to continuing with. We're excited to see where our next graduates are going to go. as well.
Definitely. I can really feel that, being in the, you as the university and you have this bunch of alumni who already is successful at the international level. That really is a showcase of how dynamic the teaching community must be at Goldsmiths.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
because like for example, I believe the education is not just something that you do and you finish your degree from, but education is something that taught to you and have you learn to grow yourself from the perspective that you get from your degree. And I think this is the right showcase that you show us here as the creative leadership in this education. So I think this is fantastic. Shall we go to the Q&A? I think Stephen can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, please do.
So, wow, this very nice picture of London. Have never
Yeah.
seen it here before.
The
So,
River Thames is looking a bit murky there, but yeah, you get the idea.
okay. So, we have a question first. That's a person who asked about child illustrations. Do you
Yes.
have a program in child illustrations?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we have a master's in that field. It's obviously a very practical course. It's looking for you to develop your skills as an illustrator, but particularly within the genre of children's literature. So it's understanding how that might differ from other books that might use illustrations, and develop kind of characters, and develop a style, because I think what you'll find is with children's literature, a lot of the illustrations are quite stylized and you can almost recognize them straight away. And that has a really good effect in children's literature because children need that recognition and they learn from that recognition as well. So yes, we do have a program in that area. If you're interested in that, I would definitely recommend you take a look on our website because the course page includes some examples of students' work as well. And it's really, really nice to see kind of the different styles that have been developed over the course, and also some examples of the final projects, which are really exquisite books that students have created and developed the illustrations for.
Mm-hmm. And can you also talk about the pre-sessional situation at, as we know it, COVID at this moment?
Yes.
How is it affect students looking to take their classes in September 2020?
Yes, good question. So for anybody looking to join us this September and anybody looking to study a pre-sessional course with us, the pre-sessional courses for this year have gone online. So all of our pre-sessionals, 5 week, 9 week, 12 weeks are all online learning. Students who are due to join us this September, we are still preparing for and planning to resume face-to-face teaching from September. Having said that, we are very aware that that might not be possible due to COVID-19, but also due to travel restrictions and all of these other factors. So at the moment, like most universities in the UK, we are in discussion around what will be the best approach to take this September. This is something that the university's senior management and the executive team are taking really, really seriously. The absolute priority is the safety of our students and of our staff, of course. So we want to ensure that we only open campus if it's safe to do so. Right. So what we are doing at the moment is just discussing the alternative options, and we'll be communicating with offer holders who have offers for 2020 as soon as a decision is reached, and within plenty time for you to make your decision about whether you want to still accept the offer in its alternative form or maybe defer or whatever it might be you want to do. But the options we're looking at the moment are things like delaying start dates, online, blended learning, all of this sort of thing. But I will mention that Goldsmiths' priority is to return to face-to-face teaching as soon as possible, because we really, really value having you on campus and learning in that style. So for that reason, I know a lot of students have been emailing to ask whether it will be 100% online from September and all of this sort of thing. We're not sure yet, but we are looking at other alternatives to that as well.
Right. Good response. คือสำหรับน้องๆที่อาจจะสนใจไปเรียนต่อประเทศอังกฤษในเดือนกันยายนปี 2020 นี้ครับการเรียน pre-sessional ตอนนี้ทุกอย่างเป็นหลักสูตรสอนออนไลน์ไม่ว่าจะเป็นหลักสูตร 8 สัปดาห์ 12 สัปดาห์ 15 สัปดาห์นะครับน้องๆสามารถเรียนภาษาอังกฤษออนไลน์ได้เลยซึ่งคุณภาพการสอนก็คือสอนโดยอาจารย์มหาวิทยาลัยเช่นกันแล้วก็การเรียน pre-sessional ก็สามารถเอาไปใช้ในการเข้ามหาวิทยาลัยในของ Goldsmiths ได้นะครับตอนนี้คำถามมีหลากหลายมากเลยเกี่ยวกับเรื่องว่าแล้วกันยานี้จะเปิดได้ตามปกติไหมมหาวิทยาลัยก็ตอบมาว่าความปลอดภัยของนักเรียนแล้วก็ปลอดภัยของอาจารย์ผู้สอนสำคัญเป็นหลักเพราะฉะนั้นนะครับกันยานี้แน่นอนครับมหาวิทยาลัยก็ยังดูอยู่ว่าอยากที่จะเปิดเพียงแต่ว่าถ้าเกิดสถานการณ์มันไม่ดีขึ้นอาจจะต้องมีการเลื่อนในการเปิดเทอมซึ่งยังไงอะครับGoldsmiths ก็จะพยายามรีบแจ้งให้กับคนที่เรียกว่าถือใบออฟเฟอร์อยู่ก็คือนักเรียนที่ได้รับการรับเลือกเข้าเรียนแล้วครับรีบแจ้งให้เร็วที่สุดนักเรียนจะได้วางแผนให้ได้ถูกต้องนะครับส่วนการเรียนไปอังกฤษเนอะน้องๆหลายๆคนก็บอกเลยว่าถ้าเกิดน้องยังไม่ไปปีนี้นะครับแต่น้องสามารถที่จะสมัครไว้ก่อนเพื่อที่จะได้ถือใบออฟเฟอร์แล้วก็เป็นการทำดีเฟอร์หลังจากนั้นก็ได้ข้อดีของการทำอย่างนี้เนื่องจากว่าน้องๆปีหน้าแน่นอนเลยว่าคนที่อั้นมาจากปีนี้ครับที่ไม่ได้เข้าปีนี้เขาจะไปปีหน้ากันหมดทำให้ปีหน้าเรียกว่าการแข่งขันจะสูงมากๆนะครับเพราะน้องๆที่ยังสนใจในการไปเรียนต่อประเทศอังกฤษเนี่ยอยากพี่แบงค์แนะนำเนอะในจากการแนะนำคือยังไม่อยากให้หยุดในการเรียนต่อต่างประเทศยังไม่อยากให้หยุดในการหยุดชะงักทุกอย่างถ้าเป็นไปได้ครับลองสมัครดูเอาออฟเฟอร์มาถือก่อนก็ยังดีกว่าเนอะแล้วพอถือได้ปุ๊บสถานการณ์ดีขึ้นน้องๆได้ไปเรียนเลยแต่ถ้าเกิดสถานการณ์ไม่ดีขึ้นแน่นอนครับการ defer นั่นคือหนึ่งใน option so defer is also one of the options that student can consider to do at Goldsmiths right
yes so if you decide you want to defer you need to contact our admissions team about that it is dealt with on a case-by-case basis so depending on the program where you hold the offer will depend on how easy it is for us to grant a deferral. But we are looking at all of those and we're trying to be as flexible as possible. We understand there's so much uncertainty and we want to offer a really smooth process to students if they are looking to defer. So you would contact our admissions team, they would then get in touch with the department to request the deferral and then get back in touch with you once the decision is made.
Right.
So yes, definitely an option.
Right, great. So the next slide. So here's the application process.
Yeah, I know anybody listening here today, if you are interested in applying for 2020, the applications are still open. So you can apply for this year if you are interested, or if you're looking for 2021, which I imagine most of you will be, the application process will open from September this year. So about 1 year in advance. IDP can of course help you apply and go through all the steps with you, including helping you get your documents together. And the things you would need in order to apply are your transcripts, references. You need 2 references, a personal statement, which I've already covered, so I won't go over that too much, but that needs to be very specific to the program. And then in some cases, a portfolio or a submission of work, and then in some cases, a CV or a resume. If you are not sure whether that's required for the course you're applying for, get in touch with IDP and they'll be able to let you know exactly what's needed for that program. In some circumstances, and again, this isn't all cases, but in some of our courses, we do also require an interview. It is nothing to worry about. The interview is usually to discuss your submission of work. So it's usually a course where you've given some examples of your work and we want to discuss those with you. But the interview is also your opportunity to ask us questions. So ask the course leader who's interviewing you about the program and really get as much information as you can to make sure that you're happy with kind of what the program involves and what your opportunities will be throughout So definitely make use of that. It's a two-way conversation. They are there to answer your questions as much as you're there to answer theirs. So definitely make use of that.
Excellent.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. You can see here on that last slide my email address if anyone just wants to jot that down quickly, but also IDP can put you in touch with me as well, so don't worry if you miss that. I don't know, is there any more questions today, Pak, for the Q&A session, or is that?
Yep, I think that is all that we have.
Okay, well, I'll just say thank you so much for joining us today. And also at this time, obviously it's a time of great uncertainty. I just want to wish you all health and wellness at this time, and also take care and look after your friends and family. We are kind of doing the same here in the Goldsmiths community. We're all trying to keep positive and well. And if we can help with anything at all, any questions at all related to COVID-19 or related to anything else we've spoken about today, do get in touch with us.
ก็สำหรับน้องๆที่เห็นว่าเซสชันวันนี้เป็นเซสชันที่มีประโยชน์ต่อตัวเองการที่เราเข้ามาเราได้ฟังแล้วเรามีความรู้มากขึ้นมีความมั่นใจมากขึ้นทีนี้อยากที่จะคุยกับเจ้าหน้าที่มหาวิทยาลัยอยากที่จะรู้ว่าการเรียนคณะอย่างน้องบางคนถามมาเรื่อง brand management ถามเข้ามาเรื่องvirtual effect ถามเข้ามาเรื่องนวัตกรรม innovation นะครับหรือบางคนอยากเรียนคณะอื่นๆmarketing ต่างๆ luxury brand marketing ก็ได้น้องๆสนใจที่จะเรียนต่อทางด้านนี้กับ Goldsmiths นะครับพรุ่งนี้ครับเรามีงานอีกงานหนึ่งเวลาตั้งแต่ 5 โมงเย็นเนอะเร็วขึ้นหน่อย 5 โมงเย็นถึง 1 ทุ่มนะครับคือน้องๆจะสามารถมานั่งอินเทอร์วิว one on one กับเจ้าหน้าที่มหาวิทยาลัยก็คือคุณเอล่าเดวิสนะครับจะสามารถมาให้ข้อมูลให้คำตอบน้องๆว่าน้องอยากไปเรียนคณะนี้เตรียมตัวยังไงหลักสูตรเรียนวิชานี้เรียนอะไรบ้างสอนยังไงรับยังไงเกณฑ์การสมัครต้องมีอะไรบ้างซึ่งเราจะมีพี่ๆแนะแนว IDP ครับช่วยเป็นคนคุยระหว่างน้องกับตัวมหาวิทยาลัยได้ด้วยเพราะฉะนั้นไม่ต้องกลัวหรือกังวลว่าจะต้องพูดภาษาอังกฤษนะครับการที่น้องอยู่ได้มาถึงจนจุดเนี้ยแล้วฟังสิ่งที่คุณเอล่าพูดภาษาอังกฤษมาได้จนถึงเนี้ยพี่ยังเชื่อว่าน้องๆหลายๆคนอาจจะแปลกใจด้วยซ้ำเฮ้ยภาษาอังกฤษฉันใช้ได้ขนาดนั้นเลยเหรอนะครับภาษาอังกฤษไม่ได้ยากการไปเรียนต่อเป็นสิ่งที่สนุกนะครับอยากลองให้น้องๆครับใช้โอกาสพรุ่งนี้ครับเข้ามาจอยกับเราในงาน Top UK University Online Interview Day กับมหาวิทยาลัยแรกคือ Goldsmiths University และ University of Southampton ตั้งแต่เวลา 5 โมงเย็นจนถึง 1 ทุ่มของวันพรุ่งนี้นะครับก็วันนี้ครับเดี๋ยวสักครู่นะครับก็สมัครเรียนต่อกับ IDP นะครับสามารถที่จะช่วยเหลือในการสมัครต่างๆของน้องได้น้องๆสามารถแอดไลน์เข้ามานะครับแล้วเดี๋ยวพรุ่งนี้เช้าวันนี้เดี๋ยวไปกินข้าวไปนอนพักผ่อนเรียนหนังสือทำงานกันมานานแล้วนะครับเดี๋ยวรบกวนทุกคนแอดไลน์ของเราครับแล้วก็สามารถทักแชทกับเราเข้ามาพรุ่งนี้ได้เลยว่าพรุ่งนี้น้องๆต้องการที่จะได้ข้อมูลอะไรยังไงบ้างนะครับแล้วก็วันนี้พี่แบงค์ขอบคุณทุกคนมากแล้วก็ Ella we are so appreciate that you are here with us today it has been a long almost 1.5 hour it's go beyond our planned time but it was really informative and it was really detailed are going to be so important decision factors for the student who attend today's sessions because we totally believe that invest in education is so important and it is not just pay money to get your degree but it is really about getting the right fit university for the students so Ella again we so appreciate you being here and support us throughout the session I wish you have amazing lunch hour sorry I took your lunch hour
Yes, and all of you enjoy your dinner tonight. I'm sure you're all hungry. But yes, thank you so much for having me here today. And I just forgot to mention, but I know Pak mentioned it, I will be doing the one-to-one interview session tomorrow. So if you do have more questions, that's a great opportunity for us to chat one-on-one. So I hope to see you there tomorrow as well.
One last question. Do you still, is scholarship still on the table for this September start offer? Or is it done?
So, if you are interested in joining us this year, the final deadline is actually the 31st of May. So anybody who would be applying and hasn't yet applied, it would be quite tight because you have to have an offer before you can apply for the scholarship. So realistically, it's a little bit too late for scholarship. However, if you've already applied for 2020 and you have your offer and you haven't yet applied for a scholarship, there's still time. The final deadline is the 31st of May, so you still have about a week or so to get those applications in.
All right, and we'll see you again at 5 p.m. Thailand time tomorrow.
Yes, see you then. Looking forward to it.
All right.
Thank you very much, and thank you
Bye.
everybody.
Have a good day.
Take care.
Take care. Bye bye.